and welcome to Round Robin. I'm your host, Robin McCormick, with the City of Hampton's Communications and Marketing Department. And today we're going to talk to you a little bit about potentially joining the fire department as a volunteer. Our city relies on volunteers a lot, and my guest today is Scott Doggette with the fire department. Welcome, Scott.
Well, thank you, Robin, very much.
You were telling me that you were a volunteer firefighter.
Yes, I've spent many years in Phoenix Fire Company.
You're not going to count it up, are you?
As a volunteer, and have enjoyed every minute of it, and made the transition over last year as a career member to bring new volunteers and new career members into the department. What
prompted you to volunteer in the first place?
I like serving my community, and it was fun. It was just a good time every time I would go down and hang out at the station.
So, and you said you were with the Phoebus company, and that has a very long and enthusiastic volunteer tradition, doesn't it?
It does. They date back to the late 1890s, and they have been in Phoebus ever since. We have members in that department now who have been there 70 years.
Well, I noticed that at the awards assembly, and I thought, you know, at some point they're volunteering to do other duties. They're probably not going out to fight fires.
Correct. They transition into more of an administrative role. One of our members just likes to come down and cook us breakfast and cook us lunch.
Oh, I want to come.
And he's pleased to. He's great, but they continue their service to the community through that. There's a time for all of us when fighting fire is probably not the best thing to do, but these volunteers still lend a support role and are there to tell all the great stories.
That's wonderful. Okay, so we are recruiting actively for volunteers right now.
Yes.
What kind of a commitment is that? What kind of training does someone need? What are they volunteering for?
Our volunteer firefighters receive the same level of training as our career firefighters do.
Wow.
Our career firefighters go through a firefighter 1 and 2 program on steroids, where it's condensed every day, hard. Our volunteers go through a nighttime class. Our nighttime classes last about 6 months. Tuesday, Thursdays, and Saturdays. They receive Firefighter 1, Firefighter 2 from the Commonwealth of Virginia, Hazmat Operations from the Commonwealth of Virginia, and then within a year of affiliation, they also receive their EMT certificate from the Commonwealth of Virginia.
So because most of the people at fire stations are certified on both with the EMT and the fire.
We do both in our city. 80%, 85% of our calls are EMS calls. And so we are all EMS providers as well.
So when you're volunteering to be a firefighter, you're also generally volunteering
Yes.
to be an emergency.
Because we do send our fire engines on EMS calls, and we have to be able to provide the same level of service off the engine that we do on the medic.
So this is a lot. I mean, you're asking people for a pretty hefty commitment of time.
We are. We provide the training, we provide the gear.
So it's free.
It is. What we ask in return is 24 hours of service a month of volunteer service.
Okay.
At a 2-year commitment, and then usually we have them hooked and they want to stay.
Aha, I see.
A lot of people use volunteering to start their career in the fire department.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. Obviously you didn't. You must have had another career.
I did. I worked in the pharmaceutical industry, but ever since Johnny Gage came on TV, I wanted to be a fireman. So that's where I've led my life to. Okay.
And so these volunteers are people of any age, but
any age, over
typically
16.
Okay.
We do take in junior members at 16. However, we don't let them go into a burning building until they're 18. So 18 and
I'm
up.
pretty sure we don't let them drive the truck right away.
No, they don't get to drive the truck real quick. But anybody over 18, man, woman, we have a diverse city, and we like our fire department to represent that diversity as well.
Now, there's some physical requirements.
There is. There's a physical agility test that we offer. You have to meet a certain time, but it keeps you in shape. So we're looking for young, healthy people, people who like to get out into the gyms and do the CrossFit things. I think this is something, a career for them.
That's a great idea. Now, is it harder to recruit people? I mean, you know, one of the things we keep hearing is people are getting more sedentary, they're not necessarily staying as fit?
I think I see the fitness, even for myself. I'm a proud member of Weight Watchers, and I'm doing it. But I think I see the fitness really kind of becoming the major thing in the fire department. As far as recruiting people, it's not too hard to recruit people who are fit. And as you talk to people, there are certainly people there that want to give back to their community. What's hard to recruit volunteers is the economy. The state of the economy has an effect on that. People don't have that discretionary time and the discretionary income.
They're maybe working 2 part-time jobs,
Right.
or doing a lot of things in
Right.
order to bring in enough income.
And it's hard to get that time commitment at times. But for those who can, we are certainly looking for a few good people.
That's great. Now let me ask, as someone who's maybe in the military, are they able to be a volunteer firefighter? Because I know they
absolutely.
give service an awful lot of times in addition to their country, to their communities.
We get a lot of active duty military people who apply. And you know, that spirit of volunteering and giving back to the community is innate in those people. That's why they join the military.
Right.
And while they're only here maybe 2 to 4 years, that's great.
So you work around their time commitments,
Absolutely.
knowing
And if
whatever
they have
their
a
situation
deployment,
is.
we absolutely we honor that, and we support them. We have some members of our volunteer organization that have gotten transferred to other areas of the country and then come back here and come right back to volunteering. And then once they retire from the military and they make that transition to civilian life, many of those members have come on board as career firefighters and are now in their second career doing
Right, and they're
wonderfully.
trained and they're certified from their volunteer
Absolutely.
service. So it's, and you all know how good they are.
And
so it's a fairly
we know them. That's
easy transition.
Absolutely.
And that's a good life plan. And what about, maybe high school kids right now are thinking, I don't know if college is for me, or college is so expensive. Is this a good thing for high school or right out of high school?
It is a great thing. It provides some structure and the camaraderie and the relationships that you build in the fire department help mold you for the rest of your life. And there's some good positive influences out there for younger people who are looking for a career right out of high school to get into. It doesn't pay that bad, and then the incentives to get education afterwards in order to be promoted in the fire department are there, and the help is there as well.
So maybe you're taking classes at school or working a part-time, I have a son who's 21 and all of his friends are working waiting jobs.
Right.
This is something that you could do to become a volunteer, to get trained, and to see if it's a potential career field for you.
Absolutely, absolutely. It gives you that exposure. You get to see and do some pretty cool things, and then see if this is something for you. And these type of jobs help keep some of our young people on the straight and narrow, because they know that if they get in trouble young, it's hard to get on a public safety job. So we try to provide that positive influence to keep them focused on the job at hand.
Okay, so is there a particular time? Is there a time when the academy starts? Periodically through the year, you have several different?
Yes. For our volunteer classes, we try to run them in the fall.
Okay.
Obviously, on a day like today, we don't like to go out in full gear and practice firefighting.
Right, because I'll tell people it's the middle of summer and it's going to be 97 today.
Yes.
So not a day you want to put in gear if you don't have to.
So we're looking at starting our next volunteer firefighter class in September, and run it through February. So on the cold days, the big coats we wear feel good.
Right.
And that's what we strive to do then. And then use the summertime for some of our EMS classes that are taught primarily indoors.
So what would I learn if I were a volunteer and I've signed up for this? What kind of things do you take me through? Is it all practical? Is there a lot of book?
It's both. It's physically demanding and physically challenging. We do have a good degree of academics in it, where we sit down and we go over. But then we take those academics that you've learned and apply them to a didactic operation, where you go out and you put your hands on and you learn by holding the hose what the different pressures are in the hose.
You get to feel it.
Because you get to feel it.
Right.
And you get to put the gear on and black out your mask and go crawl around a room to look for a potential victim. So you end up learning a lot about yourself when you do these classes, but you're going to learn that in a crisis situation, you're the one there to mitigate the crisis, and our volunteers do a splendid job in doing that.
So you do enough sort of practice situations that when it gets to that first time where you're really in the burning building, it feels automatic almost. I mean, you kind of know.
We try to develop muscle memory. So we drill and we drill and we drill and we drill, and then we drill a little bit more.
So what is a typical shift like for a volunteer? Once they've been through the training and they're assigned to a company?
They come out, we start off at 8 o'clock in the morning. They can expect to pull the fire trucks off and out and check them all off, check out all the equipment, go through all of the compartments, look at everything, make sure everything is operational. And then they have to make the two biggest decisions that a firefighter has to make every day: what's for lunch and what's for dinner. And then they can expect to take calls as they come. Sometime during that 24-hour shift, we're going to have a training evolution. We're going to document some training that we've done that day. And then hopefully in the evening time, it's going to wane down a little bit. We're going to get some rest. We do try to include some physical training in our day, a little bit of PT. And then we're just going to take calls as they come after that. Our volunteers come together and put extra apparatus in service during the week, during the night. And when they put that piece of equipment in service, they're going to be dispatched on calls just like everybody else is. A citizen would struggle to know the difference between a career member and a volunteer member getting off the truck, and that's our goal, is provide the constant level of service between our volunteer and career members every day.
So if you looked at our total complement of firefighter EMS, what percentage would you think would be the volunteers?
Well, we have roughly 400 people in our fire department. Of about 275 are career, and the rest of our volunteers.
Wow, that's huge.
It is.
Really. Now, I'm going to get at the taxpayer portion of this. I know we're asking people to volunteer, but also at home, if you're not thinking about volunteering, let's talk about what the volunteers save this community in terms of tax dollars.
We are very beneficial here in the city of Hampton with our volunteers. When we have big operations, natural disasters, man-made disasters, our citizens can enjoy the same level of service, because what we do is we send the on-duty folks to the call first. Well, as you know, other calls come in during the time. We call our volunteers out to backfill our fire stations so that citizens enjoy the same level of service no matter what's going on. At times we have to help our neighboring cities, City of Newport News, City of Norfolk, York County, with calls. We can send our equipment to those calls and help our partners in the area, and then backfill with our volunteers so that we maintain a constant level of service to the citizens of the City of Hampton.
So the volunteers really benefit the average citizen in two ways. One, there's increased support and increased people for a call, and if we have several trucks out, we still have help.
Correct.
And then two, they save a lot of tax dollars.
They do.
Because y'all were working for a little bit less.
we do, but we may have, the fire may be in Phoebus, and we have called the volunteers to come in and backfill the station, so that when the next fire call comes in Phoebus, we don't have to send a truck from Northampton all the way down.
That's right, they're ready. There's always someone at the ready.
Absolutely.
Well,
Absolutely.
Thank you, Scott. Is there anything I haven't asked you that you wanted to add about our volunteers?
I think that anybody who's looking to give back to their community and to join an organization where they feel that it's fraternal and it's a brotherhood, this is a good organization to join. We have a very supportive administration for volunteers, and there's a lot of benefit and a lot of just feeling good about yourself.
That's
being a
great.
Volunteer.
Now, do they call 311, or is there a particular number you want people to call?
They call my office.
Okay.
727-1223.
1223.
Yes,
all right.
ma'am.
All right, that sounds great. Well, thank you for coming by today and sharing with us what you have committed your life to doing as a volunteer and now as a professional recruiting volunteers.
Thank you very much.
We appreciate it.
All right.
And thank you. I hope that you will consider joining the volunteer corps here in Hampton, or will at least take a moment to appreciate that the volunteers out there do help keep you safe and attend to us during disasters. Thank you for watching.